Money Talk. My name is Cynthia Defazio, joined today by Kevin Deitrich and Joe Deitrich of First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. To our viewers at home, we're talking today about cracks in the foundation. Now, when you think about it, when you're looking at a house from the outside, maybe it looks picture perfect, kind of like the movie The Money Pit. Remember with Tom Hanks, everything was perfect and then it wasn't? Well, those cracks can sometimes be hidden. And what happens is they can cause problems over time if they're not corrected. What we're talking about today is a cornerstone of many people's retirement. We're talking about Social Security. So I have First Choice Financial Services with me today, and we're going to do a talk about why people are thinking about Social Security insolvency now. When you think about that, it's always been a pillar of our Social Security, or of our retirement foundation, if you will. But if it goes away, is that a crack in your foundation? And most importantly, how can you plan that you will still have peace of mind if that indeed be the case? So thank you for being with us today. Joe, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me. It's so good to see you. Kevin, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic.
Great.
Thank you. And I couldn't help but reference The Money Pit. Do you remember that movie where everything was like so perfect and then it fell apart? Well, when I think about that, it obviously makes me thinking about planning about Social Security. My parents, obviously grandparents, that was such a main cornerstone. They didn't think about Social Security insolvency. But if you turn on the news now, we're hearing more and more of that. And people are concerned. They're confused. They're not sure where to go for the answer. So, gentlemen, thank you for tackling this subject. Why is it such a growing concern right now when you think about it? And, Joe, I should ask you, when experts talk about Social Security becoming insolvent, what are they really saying in simple terms?
Yeah.
What does that really mean?
Right, absolutely. And I think it's important for us to start with kind of a disclaimer. You know, we can't cover everything of Social Security today in this short episode.
Right.
And, you know, we might touch on our filing decision and all. There's a lot of complexity just to that. But as we are educating people and talking to people, this question comes up quite a bit. I'm hearing that Social Security is going to run out of money, right? So what does insolvency look like? What is that? You know, so Social Security is self-funded. You know, it's its own independent trust fund. So monies go in, monies come out, right? Our FICA taxes go in to support this. So solvency or insolvency is going to be defined simply as what's the estimated time that the known obligations of the funds and the incomes coming in can handle that 100%, right?
Okay.
So 100% of our obligations to pay for Social Security, is there enough money coming into that? And so when the money drops, there's not enough coming in, or the amount that we're paying out goes out, now we have a negative. We're no longer in a surplus. We're no longer balanced. We're at a deficit. So our cash flow of that fund is leading to insolvency. And this is not a new problem, actually. We've heard a lot of it recently, but I mean, it goes back to the 80s where there was a risk of insolvency.
Really?
And changes were made. Yeah. Changes were made, and they did really, really well. They were running a surplus, and everything was going well. But we've got some changes now that are going the opposite way. But in 2024, the study was suggesting that insolvency was going to be an impact of the year 2038. And then a few years later, I believe it was 2023 study was for the year 2034. And I think a more recent one here in 2025 is even kind of backing it off a little bit sooner. So it is becoming it's increasingly becoming a concern.
Wow, and so people are really aware of it right now. They're hyper-focused, if you will, because every time you turn on the news, you're hearing this. So Kevin, talk a little bit about longer life expectancy, fewer workers, if you will, supporting more retirees. Social Security, is that something that we should be thinking about as far as compared now versus in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why there's concern and the urgencies. We're seeing more of urgencies because people are living longer.
Yes.
So, you know, going back to your analogy of your grandparents, parents.
Yes.
A lot of times those passed on earlier ages, if you will, and so those monies that would have been paid out if they lived into their 90s or 100 maybe, you know, are kept in the trust fund, if you so to speak. But now people are living longer. There's fewer workers, which is a huge deal.
Absolutely.
We can go into the whole, religious type of thing as far as abortion goes, as far as why that might happen and why that's the consequence of some of that. But there's a lot of consequences that have related up, or things that have happened that led to this consequence that we're have fewer workers now
Okay.
than paying into Social
And
Security.
I think statistically, people are having less kids than they once were. So
Yeah,
that goes
obviously.
back to all of the assumptions that go into the trust fund, Social Security's assumptions as to how much they can pay out and when. And they made some
Yes.
adjustments to the full retirement age. So they're, as we plan, those plans, those assumptions have kind of proven to be incorrect. The baby boomer generation, there's a lot of people that are going to be moving into Social Security. That's more payout, and like Kevin said, less people paying in.
So right now, the folks that are looking at Social Security were baby boomers. And so there was a huge influx of babies born right after World War II that
True.
now we're seeing the influx of people retiring. And this is, like Joe said, it's not a sudden issue. Like this didn't just happen. It's been long building for decades here.
Okay, thank you so much. And Joe, I should also ask you, someone in their working years emotionally right now, how do they approach this topic and have peace of mind versus panic and feel overwhelmed? Because we are such emotional creatures, and anytime something says it's going away or it's changing, we're like, what? Changing? How's it going to affect me?
Absolutely.
So how do you give people peace of mind?
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions that come around this particular topic and what you as an individual can count on or not count on. I would just encourage you to stay calm and to be proactive. The earlier that you can start planning, the better off you're going to be. It used to be that I have a pension and I have Social Security, I'm set for life.
Right.
That was the mindset, and we need to move past that. There's a necessity that we move past that and be proactive in creating our own income streams and things that can work around maybe some adjustments to Social Security. Last episode we talked about resilience. This is getting a plan that has some resilience to it that you can count on.
And adaptability. Remember we talked about that?
Adaptability.
Not flexibility, but adaptability.
There you go.
Yes, most definitely. And planning, like you mentioned, Joe and Kevin, obviously,
planning is so important.
It's empowering. If you can plan for something to no longer be there, you wouldn't fear it as much, or maybe not be there. I shouldn't say that, but decrease. If you have a proper plan, something else will compensate for that. You have peace of mind. It's empowering, correct, Kevin?
Yeah, it is. It's where the distribution comes into play. We talk about that at the workshop, is that there's a difference between accumulation-driven philosophy in planning and then distribution-driven philosophy in planning. So we plan for if Social Security is dissolved, where can we pull those funds to replace that Social Security check?
Yes.
We plan for that. How many advisors plan for that? Not too many.
It's true.
And so that's where the difference between a retirement advisor and a financial planner.
Kevin, thank you. Joe, are you finding a lot of people, I know you do workshops in the area, are they asking you specifically about this Social Security
Yes,
issue?
they are.
What an interesting question, because I was going to build upon what Kevin said. Kevin mentioned when we talk about in our workshops, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So if you go to our website, firstchoicefinancialservicesinc.com, you're going to be able to hit a drop-down menu and you're going to see where our workshops are in the local area. We have them every month, and we're educating on Social Security and taxes and retirement. So specifically, you're talking about what you do have control over, when and how do I file? So
Right.
that's something that you certainly need to be thinking about and planning for. So that is a great resource. Another way is that let's do a complete review. Let's take a look at your plan. Call the number on the screen, 888-959-2743. You'll be able to get an opportunity to sit down with us. We'll walk through your particular situation, and you will leave there with a complimentary, customized retirement plan, and you'll have a whole lot better picture as to what's going on.
Absolutely.
Joe, thank you. Kevin, thank you. So our viewers at home, the number to call is right there on your screen. That number is 888-959-2743. Once again, 888-959-2743. We started the segment talking about these hidden cracks in the foundation of the home, how they can destroy the home over time. Well, one of the cracks we're talking about right now is Social Security insolvency. But if you have a plan for that, you'll find that it's empowering. Call in today and book that consultation. There's no obligation. 888-959-2743, or you can grab your smartphone and click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That's going to be the fast track to get on the schedule at First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. When we come back from this very short commercial break, we're going to talk about how you can build alternative income streams to supplement Social Security if that does change down the road. This is about your retirement plan. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
That's the number one concern that we face whenever someone comes for our help. We get calls every week from the program, and a lot of them are pre-retirees, and they want to know, am I going to run out of money? Well, the software programs we use can determine that. And our question is, wouldn't it be nice to know now rather than 20 years from now? So yeah, for you to retire today without proper planning, it's really silly. You're writing it down, you're trying to put your plan together. Just pick up the phone, call us, come and meet us in person. And we'll take care of eliminating those problems. We'll show you how you can pay off your home, how to pay off those cars. Next time you buy a car, maybe you won't buy a brand new car. Maybe you'll buy a car 2 years old that's got a few miles on it, but it's about a third the price of what you paid for a new one. There's just different things that we can teach you. One is, before you retire, you're all focused on accumulation. And then over here, now you make your decisions, and here you are retired. But we call that the pre-retirement red zone and the post-retirement red zone. And the actual act of retiring, and going through those problems, that's a learning curve too. And that's just a time when you're just trying to protect what you have till you get over here and understand what your new lifestyle is like. What's it going to cost me? Where's the money going to come from? Those type of things. So yeah, number one concern, running out of money. We just ask you to come on in. Come on in, give us a call, pick up the phone. It doesn't bite you. Just pick up the phone, come on in, and we'll sit down and let us fix your problem.
Welcome back to Mid-State Money Talk. My name is Cynthia Defazio, joined today by Kevin Deitrich and Joe Deitrich of First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. And we're talking all about Social Security insolvency and how that would impact you, you're the retiree, with your income each month. So we're going to talk a little bit about that more in depth this segment, what changes you could expect to see, and most importantly, how do you plan for those so that they're not a huge upset, but that you will still have peace of mind? Kevin, when you think about it, if Social Security does start to become insolvent, if you will, it's going to impact your retirees' overall lifestyle, if you will, their monthly income. So how might that affect someone's overall retirement spending plan, if you will? I don't want to say budget because that's a boring word. I'm going to go with spending plan. How does that affect their spending plan?
Well, I'll go with budget.
Okay.
Because I think budget is not a boring word. It's a very important word. You'd be surprised from a general perspective, from our experience, how many people come into our workshop, or into our office and sit down, they don't have a budget.
Okay.
And so if you don't know what you're spending, how much do you know how much income you need to have coming in?
That's true.
Right? So we look at that. The first appointment, we look at that as far as what their expenses are. So we can, even some modest reductions of expenses can really generate income. So if you lower your expenses, it actually is like giving yourself a raise.
That's true.
So from a general perspective, even a overall, from one time you're 17 years old making your first paycheck till you're 70 years old and you're retiring, all that time you need to be looking at your budget and looking at your expenses, looking at make sure you have enough income coming in to meet those expenses. Do you have just a paycheck or do you have some paycheck money coming in?
Okay.
We also can have proper planning in place to have an income stream that can kick in if your expenses increase higher than what your income is, and you can't reduce them because there are some fixed expenses, there are some flexible expenses, obviously.
Okay.
Coffee at Starbucks every day is probably a flexible expense.
Okay.
But
Some people would fight you on that.
But the
Yeah, I was thinking maybe, yes.
But the electric bill is a fixed expense as far as that's going to be there
Yes,
all the time.
you have to have it, yes.
So those types of things.
And that's what you meant by paychecks and playchecks, right? Those things that you can't change, you have to live with. And your playchecks are those that are adjustable. Knowing that is super, super important. It gives you the flexibility.
Yeah.
Yep.
So planning, having the income plan in place that when Social Security is reduced or does get reduced, or it becomes insolvent and it just goes away. I don't think that's going to happen, however, but it's probably going to be reduced.
Okay.
To a degree we don't know. But having that extra money coming in that could replace that because of proper planning is so key.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Again, it's peace of mind. It means being able to sleep well at night versus being wide awake and riddled with fear, if you will. So, Joe, is there any specific age group that will be more vulnerable to these potential changes more than others? Any specific age group?
Yeah, I think this particular crack in the foundation could impact everybody, honestly. But there are certain groups that are going to be more hardly impacted than others. And we don't know exactly what those solutions might be in order to try to shore this up, and we can talk about that hypothetically. But let's just say this happens, right? Insolvency, we're a few years out, and what does that mean? Does that mean it goes broke completely? No, but they would, under the current assumptions, there could be as much as a 20% reduction in benefits, maybe more, maybe less, right? So let's use that kind of as an idea. If you're a younger worker, you've got time to plan, you've got time to save, you've got time to start setting aside funds that you can not have to rely upon that portion of it. Now, what if you're in the group that, hey, I'm 3 years from retirement, I don't have to be able to do that. That's going to be a little bit more challenging, right?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you want to know now than after you've retired that's
Yes.
going to be an issue? Even if it is a year, 2, 3, 5 years out, and you're going to be retiring shortly, let's take a look at that now. Sit down with us. Let's talk through what's going on. Let's set a plan. Kevin said that you can give yourself a raise by reducing your expenses, right?
Yes, yes.
We see that all the time. People are not tracking their expenses.
That's true.
And automating some savings so they don't see it, their spending's going to adjust accordingly. So there's small things that certainly can be done.
Yes.
If you need to work 1 more year, 2 more years, it would be nice to know that now, right?
Yeah.
Do you have the opportunity to cut your hours back and slow retire? That's a strategy that we want to look at. So there are options regardless of what age and group that you find yourself in, but you're only going to be able to know what those options are if you sit down with us and we can present those to you. So give us a call. The QR code's on the screen, the phone number's on the screen, 888-959-2743. Pick up the phone, give us a call.
I think it's important to add to this is that there are things that are unknown.
True.
So we can control the things we can control. And we can control having an income stream set in place that can replace that if it does happen.
Okay.
It's no different than setting an income stream in place that will handle long-term care if that need arises. No different. So these are
or the
all
loss of a spouse.
correct.
There's
Yes.
multiple things to
Yes.
play
These are all
Divorce,
hypothetical,
yeah.
and we have to understand that. There are things we don't know. We don't work for Social Security
Right.
Administration. We don't know what's going to happen, but there are some assumptions that could be made. It's not going to go away. That's the assumption. It's going to be reduced. That's the assumption. Who's going to get the reduction? People that haven't started yet? People that are on it? We don't know those things.
Or if maybe the reduction's less and the people that
Correct.
are paying in have to pay more in their FICA taxes. There's, like I said, we could hypothetical what the solutions might be, but the most important thing is that you're planning in your situation to be resilient with your plan
Correct.
and have an income stream that can replace or a plan that it is to work a little bit longer, what it might be. And it actually might just be that you don't need to work any longer and you have the confidence to know that you can handle it just where you are now with some proper planning.
Right.
Or it means saying goodbye to Starbucks.
Or
That's right.
Starbucks. Now, I mean, that's like last resort. But
Actually making your coffee at home?
There you
Wow.
go.
that's a fad now. Did you know that?
That is a fad
Yes.
now.
Oh my gosh,
I
my
started
daughter
that
and
fad.
son-in-law.
Yeah.
Did you-
There we go.
They love doing it. He's like the best barista I know. Kevin, thank you. Joe, thank you. To the viewers at home, there's a number to call on your screen. That number is 888-959-2743. What you're calling in for today is to book your own complimentary consultation with the team of First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. Let them get to know you one-on-one. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your hopes for retirement? Are you thinking about Social Security insolvency? Is that making you nervous going forward? Wouldn't it give you peace of mind to have a plan in place? All you have to do is one thing, call in and take advantage of the consultation, 888-959-2743. Or we've made it even simpler. You can grab your smartphone and click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That's going to take you right to the landing page of First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. You can schedule your time accordingly. We're going to take a very short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the importance of proper retirement planning, especially if one pillar seems to be not as sturdy as it was before. Stay tuned. We'll be right back momentarily. Don't go anywhere.
Think estate planning mistakes only happen to celebrities. Think again. Prince, Aretha Franklin, and even Ted Williams all left behind estates without a proper plan, leading to years of legal disputes and financial losses for their families. But these mistakes aren't just for the rich and famous. Without a solid estate plan, your assets could be tied up in probate, subject to higher taxes, or even end up in the wrong hands. The good news is this: these mistakes are avoidable. A well-structured estate plan ensures that your assets go where you intend with minimal hassle for your loved ones. Have you reviewed your plan recently? Do you know how tax laws impact your estate? Don't let your legacy become another cautionary tale.
Welcome back to Mid-State Money Talk. My name is Cynthia Defazio, joined today by Kevin Deitrich and Joe Deitrich of First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. If you're just tuning into this final segment, we talked about in the beginning of the show Social Security insolvency. It's on all of the news channels right now. People are thinking about it. People are talking about it. Well, how do you have peace of mind if that does come down the pike, if you will? You need a proper plan, and that's what we're going to talk about in this final segment, is how you can reduce your reliance on Social Security if this does indeed happen. So, Joe, that was the perfect setup for me to ask you, what are some other ways that people can be looking at revenue streams, if you will, if Social Security is not a strong pillar for them in the future?
Yep, absolutely. So all of those years that we've been saving, the 401k, the IRA, the taxable account, all of those things, they were for a purpose. Have you identified your goals, your objectives? The idea is that we're moving into a new phase of life. Our retirement is not a retirement date. It's a retirement lifestyle. We are moving into something. We should be retiring to something and not from something. And so the mindset shift of, I'm now going to be using what I've worked hard for to support my lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what it was there for. So hopefully you've started early and you saved adequately. People that work with advisors, they're almost twice as likely to be on track with their savings.
I love that.
Yeah. So whatever stage you are in, give us a call, sit down with us so we can get you on track or back on track. Because you're going to need to be able to use other resources, whether that is your IRA, your Roth, your taxable account, working part-time longer, whatever it is that you need to set a plan on so that you can be a little bit more resilient in the event that Social Security does have a reduction.
Okay, perfect. Kevin, I should ask you, peace of mind, how does proper retirement planning help people more secure, help them feel more empowered, if you will, in case something does change?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I think it's important that if people are educated and they understand the basics of what we're talking about here, and they understand the whys behind them. So the planning is so important. We look at income planning, we look at spousal plans. If one of the spouses passes away, how do you replace that Social Security check? How do you replace possibly a pension that might be lost? Legacy planning, leaving the money to your heirs that you want them to go, what you want to go to the heirs, and with the least amount of taxes possible going to the IRS. That's all proper planning. And I think if there's a proper plan in place, they feel more comfortable. They feel more stress-free.
Absolutely.
Stress-free, not stressful. Stress-free.
Stress-free.
To be able to sleep at night. A lot of our clients just sleep good, if I'm just honest with you. And they know that we have their back, and they understand the plan, and the plan could be adaptable, plan could be flexible.
Yes.
Clarity reduces anxiety. If they understand what's going on, it reduces anxiety. Value of knowing options and trade-offs is very important.
Yes.
Yeah, so Social Security is guaranteed lifetime income, right? This is supposed to be something that we've been counted on. It's going to pay us for the rest of our life. We're talking about a reduction. We're talking about insolvency.
Right.
Yes.
We're talking about some uncertainty, and we want to move towards confidence, right?
Yes.
There's other sources of guaranteed lifetime income. And so, when we sit down and this is being a concern and some of the other priorities that Kevin talked about, we can talk about other ways to replace that and have guaranteed lifetime income built upon what it is that the assets that we've saved.
What is one mindset shift that people should take away from today's topic, from today's show, Joe? If you could leave words of wisdom with them, what sort of mindset shift are we looking at?
I think I would reiterate that we're thinking about this in terms of uncertainty, but we want to move towards confidence. And the way that we move towards confidence is not burying our head in the sand, but identifying what it is that the possible solutions could be. We need to be able to stress test our situation, our plan. We may stress test it and find out that we can absorb that kind of that kind of reduction and continue on. But we may have to make some changes. But not knowing is the biggest source of uncertainty. So, having somebody come in and sit down and talk with us, call the number on the screen, 888-959-2743. Our staff would love to talk to you. We would love to sit down with you and go through and identify your plan. You would leave with a complimentary, customary retirement plan. And this is just one piece of that plan, but you're going to be able to see how your plan is going to weather the storms or the cracks maybe of Social Security.
Yeah, and not only
Yes.
do they receive that customizable plan that's fit to their lifestyle,
Yes.
There is a mind shift because retirement is an emotional time.
Sure.
And I think that's one of the mind shifts that people will tell us. From our experience, we hear from them is that I didn't realize how emotional this is going to be.
Yes.
They may be 5 years away from it, but then when they get to that 1 year, I just had a lady call me the other day, and we put a plan together about 2 years ago, and she's coming up in August, she's going to retire. And she just called me and said, I want to sit down and just make sure that I'm good.
Yes. Yes.
And
I
we
just
went
need to
through.
know.
We went through the whole plan again, and make sure that she had enough money coming in for Social Security. And then we created a pension from an annuity for her, from her IRA money. That's going to kick in August, and so she has some discretionary income now. And this lady's used to living paycheck to paycheck, and that's okay, and she's okay with that.
Yeah.
And we have some other funds because we pull some money out of her 401k. Her 401k is building. We made some adjustments on getting a little bit more aggressive in that. So that's
Okay.
building. So she'll have some liquid money there too. So she's really set, and she walked away from that meeting so much more confident and have clarity that I'm going to be okay.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to be okay. And that's really what their concern is.
Peace of mind.
And so it is a mind shift situation. She's like, it's coming in August, and like, I'm not sure I'm ready for this.
And how
I'm
would
excited.
how would she feel she didn't pick up the phone and call you?
Right.
Yes.
I'm excited, but yeah, I'm a little scared.
That's normal.
Yep.
It's the unknown.
So there's definitely a mind shift there. And they
Yes.
don't know what they don't know. So pick up the phone, give us a call, and sit down with us and join our family.
Most definitely. Again, Kevin, thank you so much.
you.
Joe, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, it's time for you to become part of our family. Call in today, 888-959-2743, 888-959-2743. You're calling in to book your very own complimentary consultation, one-on-one time with the team of First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. Let them get to know you. Let them design a customized retirement plan, fully complimentary for your needs. Again, 888-959-2743, or click the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today. Take care now. We'll see you soon.